This episode is not as traumatizing as that, but it's still good.
But if you're me, then there's emotional turmoil in the middle. If you really like a certain character, then you die at the end of the episode.
you blow up.
This episode 131, as Trev, you pointed out after we watched the video, we are now at the same number of episodes Dragon Ball Super is at. Yay! Dragon Ball Super's episode 131 was an action-packed spectacle. What is My Hero Academia's episode 131? But emotional damage, part 3.
Woo!
So
Yeah.
we kind of begin the episode with Deku. He's still in his little coma, right? And he is in the what is it called? What is it called?
Hospital.
The hospital, and he's in his coma.
I could have helped you, but I didn't feel like it. I wanted to see where that would go.
Oh my fucking god.
Me, would
He's
I
in
remember what the vestige world is called before the
The
hospital?
Mind Palace. He's in the Mind Palace. That's where
part
he
two.
is.
He's in the One for All Mind Palace. He's in the vestige world, and he awakens to see every single One for All wielder sitting in giant chairs.
Besides
Yeah,
two
they're all.
people.
It's family gathering. We're all
The
sitting down having a
council-
good time.
The council has arrived, except for 2 members because they're in the back, like facing the wall.
Facing the wall.
Because they're really powy and they're in a good mood.
They're shy.
They're not in a good mood.
They didn't
and-
want to eat dinner with us today, so
So yeah, Endeavor. Oh my god, we were talking about Endeavor for like
I have to remember who the main character is.
oh yeah.
Um,
Anyways,
His name
okay,
is
so
what? What's his name?
Deku. Yes,
yes.
he's in the One for All world, and he's conversing with number 1, who said that, well, before, the quirk wasn't strong enough for all of us to appear like this. We kind of had to be in like very set circumstances in order for us to communicate. But now, because One for All is so much stronger now, we are able to group up like this. And we learn that the 4th user, he stands up, and we learn that the reason why he died, that All Might was trying to cover up, essentially, is that while he was the wielder of One for All when he was alive, because he had his own power, which is Danger Sense, and he also had 2nd, 3rd, and his like the multiple powers, his body began to give out. His like face starts to like crack. He's got this like giant scar going across his face, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And he died very young. He only died at like age 40. Because we find out that people who are born with a quirk, when they inherit One for All, they're essentially taking on more let's use an analogy. It's basically like he's a hard drive, right? Or he's like a drive, right? And he has his quirk, which is the data in the hard drive. And the extra quirks that he inherits is more data than the hard drive can handle. So therefore it crashes and doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, like his body just couldn't handle it.
Just breaks down, yeah.
His body broke down and he died. And he had the quirk for about 18 years, and his whole time with it, he actually spent like just physically training like by himself in the woods to kind of like power it up for the next person to have.
he constantly would escape from All for One, just to like train in the woods alone.
Mm-hmm.
That was all. That was all he did for his like rest of his life.
And there's no other like person to kind of compare the dying of old age, quote unquote, with all of One for All, because all of the other users have died in battle. But Deku, who's confused about why he would die with One for All, when All Might had it for like 40 years, and he was completely fine until his injury. It turns out that when One for All is passed down, it has all of its quote unquote data. The episode uses like a cup full of liquid sort of analogy. It will overflow, it'll crack, whatever. But a person without a quirk taking this on, there's no extra. It's not adding that extra quirks to another quirk. It is just putting it in another seal that is capable of holding it all. And that's why All Might was able to have it for so long, and that's why Deku was able to have it for so long. Despite, because it's way stronger than when the fourth user, his name is Hikage, had it. So if say Deku was born with a quirk and he got One for All, he would have probably died very soon.
No, he would. It's like shaking a soda bottle, like
Yeah.
heavier and heavier with each user.
Put some Mentos in it.
With how strong One for All is now, and it grew to be because of All Might. If Deku did have a quirk, he would have lasted much shorter than any.
Oh, he would have been dead by now.
Yeah. But because of him not having a quirk, his body could handle it.
There was the space requirement, right?
Yeah, like something I always when this chapter came out, the first thing I thought of was if in the second movie, if Bakugo kept One for All with the 10 times multiplier of power with this information, boy would have been dead in a year.
He would have. Yeah.
That's probably also why, because the movie doesn't really explain it, but like after the movie came out, there was like the few chapters of the One for All world stuff that kind of explained like, no, the previous users want Deku to have it, so they're going to, stay in his body. They don't want anyone else to have One for All.
Man, now we can't get Kirishima One for All.
Man, why would he need it? I'm just kidding.
Because he's the GOAT.
What, does he get even harder?
Yeah.
Now he's glowy.
He becomes Diamond. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
All right, yo, wait.
Diamond is unbreakable?
Hey, yo.
Question mark? But yeah, we find out that Deku has the required amount of space in order to, live with One for All, just like how All Might did. And we, the One for All users kind of pose him a responsibility, because they say that, people without quirks in this day and age are basically almost an extinct breed of people.
Yeah.
So there is almost no other chance to use One for All to defeat All for One. You have to be the last wielder. You have to be the one that ends this All for One, One for All cycle. And Deku takes on that has to take on that responsibility, right? And this is when Nana Shimura, who was All Might's previous wielder, asks Deku, "Can you kill Tomura Shigaraki?" And that's where the episode cuts in half. Ironically, to a picture of Shigaraki.
This moment, what we're about to get into, what we're about to discuss, arguably one of Deku's best moments in the entire series, I would argue.
Yes, very good.
Dude, Deku is such a
He's such a
guy.
He's such a based main character.
Base
He's my
individual.
MC.
The way they go about this after Deku had proclaimed so like ambitiously at the end of the battle that after all that Tomura did, after all these awful things, he felt this glimmer of needing to save him. And rather than just letting that be that and that's his motivation, we have all of these previous users who have dealt with All for One and now seeing what the current version of him and his disciple has turned into. Rather than just like breezing it by, there is a genuine, intelligent discussion and disagreement of what Deku's plan for Shigaraki is, and if this is just on a whim, or if he knows what he's getting himself into.
Mm-hmm.
I have a proposition for Deku. I know how to end this war right now.
Oh,
If
God.
if God, if a one for all user has a quirk, right, and they take it on because there's multiple quirks inside of it, it shortens their lifespan. How many quirks does All for One have?
I literally thought this exact same thing. Like legit, I was gonna make a video about that because I was like, okay, wait, you can kill All for One by just giving him One for All. Then he'd blow up.
He might be all powerful for like a
Blow up.
few weeks, maybe.
Plus, he's
No.
like 100-something years old. So it's
Like,
No, I'm
if-
sure he has. I'm sure he has a plan. Whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Go straight to your thighs, and then you'll blow up.
blow up.
That's how you kill him.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that I get weaker? Wait, no, but I made the thing. That wasn't. I didn't decide that. Oh, and then he dies.
There's. But yeah, Shimura asks Deku if he is capable of killing Shigaraki, right? Because All for One is using him as his new body to try and steal One for All, and it's a thing that he's been trying to do for a very long time. Obviously, it always fails, but with Shigaraki, with his like hatred and sheer amount of just power, he essentially is unstoppable, right? So he is way more powerful than All for One originally was. So the chase is over, right? You can't run from him anymore. Again, tying back into the whole like having to be the last One for All user, he has to be the one to defeat All for One. And Deku, his whole logic of wanting to save Shigaraki because he looks like someone who's in trouble is kind of challenged by the other One for All users, because they're like, what we saw was just a guy who was suffering under All for One and just had hatred in his eyes and wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
So we don't agree with trying to save him.
Yeah, we don't see it.
They looked into his eyes and saw venomous hatred, like
Yeah,
concocted
saw
and
it.
built up for years.
Yeah.
A villain.
They've also gone through, dying by all for One, and also like escaping twice, because All for One has tried to take One for All twice. They say
Now,
so. Now they're like, we kind of don't want to take that chance. It'd be kind of better to just kill him.
They
It'd
can't
be
afford-
hundreds of years of like, keeping that capture the flag away from him. And it's just
Trauma.
you're gonna reach out a hand. I don't know about that one, Chief.
yeah, right. There's essentially their logic. There's no one to pass it on to, and Shigaraki is too fucking powerful to run away from. So there's no point. But Izuku, Deku, my boy, stands his ground on his statement and tells them that, like, even though Shigaraki, there's just like this hate and malice and destruction from him, deep deep within him is this crying, suffering little child. And he points out that All Might taught Deku that One for All is a power that is meant to save people, not kill people. And he does admit, though, that if there really is no other choice, I will. But I want to try and help him first.
Yeah.
And he reflects on all his previous enemies and recontextualizes every battle he's had, knowing how they refused to back down, so the only thing he really could do was put them in their place. But Gentle, going back to the sports, or not sports festival, the culture festival, like, Gentle taught him that there could be more underneath that surface. There's more humanity to these villains than he ever could have realized before. So he's like, if I understood the pain that they're going through, what made them do the things they did, would I be able to change the outcome? And I still see that glimmer, even in a person so far gone as Tomura. I saw it. I felt it.
This is why Deku is such a good protagonist.
Dude, he's just great. Like,
because I'm gonna bully Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, perfect.
So Goku has always been a sort of Deku-like character, or Deku's a Goku-like character in a way, where Goku does not want to fight people because they are evil and he wants to kill them. He just wants to fight people because fighting is something that he enjoys, and that's how he connects with people, right? And he's going to put down a bad guy, right? Because if they're an irredeemable piece of shit, right? But what Goku always does is try to see the best in them and try to redeem them. And he's done it a few times, right? But Dragon Ball Super, trying to kind of subvert this trope of his, where Goku learns a lesson about how villains sometimes cannot be saved or reasoned with or redeemed, is constantly looped every fucking arc because they have no idea where to take his character. So we get this Goku where he fights a villain, gives him a second chance. They turn their back on him. Lather, rinse, repeat.
And he's like, "Oh no, guess I have to kill you now."
And it's gotten so boring. But here in My Hero's case, where it's sort of Deku was sort of like the opposite of wanting to save the villain trope, where all he did was just beat them up and arrest them, right? But now that he's growing, he has learned that if I knew why these people did this, if I knew that there's a glimmer of hope for them, I would try to save them. And that's where he's like transitioning into the wanting to save the villain sort of mindset, right?
And pushing
Deku's
that.
for.
But because
you go ahead, sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say Deku's for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
But because my hero is well written, and we see an evolution of this thought process, and what we can infer from this story of Shigaraki doesn't want to be saved. He just doesn't want all for one on his back, you know? He doesn't want to be controlled. He's still going to be evil.
Yeah.
So, and I think we brought this up a few episodes ago where Deku can try his hardest to save Shigaraki, but in the end, Shigaraki is the villain. You know, he's going to want to destroy everything no matter what. So I'm curious to see how Horikoshi takes like the trope of I'm gonna be the hero that saves the redeems the villain into like maybe I can't. I would love to use Goku again as a positive example. I would love like a scene that's like the end of the Frieza arc where Goku does give Frieza that second chance. is he immediately
Mm,
Frieza immediately tries to kill him again. Goku puts him down and just gets that iconic panel of him just like with an incredibly just somber, disappointed look on his face. If that's how I'm just inserting my own like fanfiction fucking
His
idea.
wishes.
If something like that is how My Hero ends Shigaraki, I'd be pretty fucking satisfied, I think.
that'd be pretty
For
good.
my personal wish, if not for like finding that, doing the dumb thing, and it's like, you're a psychopathic murderer, want to help me? Doing the more Shigaraki and the League of Villains' whole reason for standing up was that they were people outcast by a society that didn't they didn't fit in their mold.
Yeah.
The world shut them out for one reason or another because they are so conditioned by heroes that it was always somebody else's problem to deal with. So having Deku break that mold, understanding now through all his experience that this world is not so black and white, that he has the opportunity to shape a world further where people like Shigaraki are never created or cultivated ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And confirming that to Shiggy. It's like the new world, the new state of things, this new hero society, we will not let it be shaped up the way that it created you.
Right.
Which is
That
I would love
that's
that.
that would hit
that's
really
so
hard
good,
for
bro.
me.
That's so good. Like Deku, I don't know. Like Deku has always been very like, he wants to save people. Like he just wants to be the hero that like that symbol of hope that's been like perpetuated throughout like society. And obviously that's kind of crumbling now because of the reality of what's going on. But like oh my god.
Deku has this. Go ahead.
Okay. He started an L, kind of just a very simple basis of, I want to be just like All Might and be a symbol of bravery and like hope. But of course, as this role has been passed down to him, that he was not expecting all of this baggage to come with, it's a huge weight to take on. It's a torch that he is gonna have to hold no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these people who have spent their lives trying to pass down this torch and have died by that symbol of fear. Even after all of that, seeing that they have suffered so fucking much and that all his friends and family have suffered, he just still wants to save Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what.
So good.
It's
Deku
so
is.
good.
And I know people clown on that whole thing where it's like, oh, Steven Universe just saving bad people, whatever. But like, I don't like when it's done right. Like, it is such a like.
He sees the hope in, or at least
Yeah.
the child that is in pain within him.
He's an empath.
Deku's greatest strength is that because he's a hero, he's going to save people physically. But his greatest strength is that he is able to save people mentally and emotionally. He's done it with Eri. He's done it with fucking Shoto. He's
Shoto.
He's inspired all of his classmates to try and be better heroes. He's inspired Gentle Criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the ability to set people on the right path, and that's what makes him that's what makes his like whole wanting to redeem the villains thing way better than say Goku's is in Dragon Ball Super, because we know that this works in My Hero. It's not like a cycle that gets repeated over and over and over again like it does in Super.
And even then, with like Shigaraki, it's not redeeming Shigaraki. It's simply saving him.
It is saving him.
It's just showing that Deku, like, he is willing to try like doing
Like,
that.
no matter what, like, no matter what, Shigaraki will die. He's
Yeah, that's not.
he's built up. He's built up to be like that.
There's a
But
line.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
Okay. But I know that Deku at the end will try and save him before he dies, so that he can finally see, like, finally get that hand that he was reaching out for as a child.
Yeah, there is a line that a character says that I think might be next episode that is also a sort of way of tying in. It's an alternative form of saving someone that is also a thing that Deku tries to consider. But we'll get to that next episode, hopefully.
To put a nice little bow on like all 3 episodes that we've discussed here, like characters like Hawks, Endeavor, and now Shigaraki, I firmly believe going into the conclusion of this series, however this plotline wraps up, it will not be, to pull out my own example, it will not be an Obito situation. It will be something held with actual nuance, something that's thoroughly fleshed out in Shigaraki's response to Deku's desire. It's not just a black and white, bad, good situation. It will be handled as maturely and nuanced as it should with something like this.
Yeah.
In the way that Endeavor and Hawks, both gray characters, more so on Endeavor's half of the malicious and the genuine good-hearted.
Yeah.
Something. Go ahead.
That going forward, like I have full confidence. That's something that these 3 episodes share, is the idea of not looking at a character on their surface values, despite the sins they've committed.
Going off, yeah, and like going off what you said with like black and white, Shigaraki is a character who tries to make things black and white in a way, or at least like he, of course, believes that he's irredeemable, so he's fit into this villain role.
Mhm.
And of
He had
course,
a whole monologue about it last arc.
Yeah.
And Deku is, of course, the hero, but Deku, of course, does not see as that. He does not see as black and white. He sees someone in pain, and that's so good. That's so good.
Shigaraki's so convinced that no one will understand because no one has understood this entire time, that it's like the villain label that you slap on me and the brave heroes who defeat it is just destroying what you don't understand and shoving it away.
Yeah.
Plus, like, he was fucking raised by a evil man who basically encouraged him to grow up to be the worst person ever. Like, he was like, yeah, your pain and your trauma, just you feel it, bro.
All for one.
Be it.
All for one.
Yeah, and all for one. Sorry, I hate Kotaro. I hate Kotaro so much. He is such a terrible father.
You were talking about his dad. All for one groomed Shigaraki to be the way that he is, because as we learned in this episode, while what the original case was, like, from the story perspective, not necessarily All for One's like in universe goal, was, you know, make my successor the one who's going to rise up. So I'm going to cultivate this person to be like the ultimate villain. We now know that in universe, it's literally going to be, I'm making you the new me. I'm going to put my brain in your brain. So, but we learn here that Shigaraki's like intense, just hate, right, is what keeping himself, right? That is all he can. That is all he can and wants to feel.
Yeah.
Right. And All for One's ultimate like tool in order to take over Shigaraki is that hate, because it's the feeling that is able to I I sound really stupid right now. The
it's chill.
One for All users basically said that an intense feeling could, in theory, overwrite the transfer of One for All. So that's why All for One is using Shigaraki's hatred to try and do so, and we see it almost worked in the war.
Yeah,
that's where it was going. It was a very, very roundabout way of saying it, but
We got
You
there.
did it. You did
We
it, bro.
got it.
You did it. Yeah. Shigaraki is a victim.
When I first read this chapter out, my heart was so full, especially after seeing All Might's vestige cry.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, my
When-
main character, my MC.
My MC. When Izuku and Tenko, when that little shot of them as kids showed up,
Yeah.
I remember distinctly reading the chapter with my friend. I walked out of the room. I was gone, bro. I couldn't handle that. I needed a minute. I had to leave the room and come back.
We're not even done with the episode yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh,
there's still more. That's right.
There's more. So after Deku gives his big speech about his goal of wanting to save Shigaraki in the Mind Palace, Nana Shimura tells him, she tells him Shigaraki is my grandson. So in a way, it's kind of my fault. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. But
Oopsie.
She breaks down into tears and she's like, I'm sorry for I'm sorry for testing you just now by asking if you could kill him. And she kind of feels she feels the guilt of entrusting a young teenager to end this huge war that stems from her mistake of leaving her son behind.
Which is a really refreshing and really great line, considering this whole time it's been we're passing that off to the next generation, but we meant when you grow up, I did not want to have to push all of this burden because of my failings onto a child. I did not want to make a child soldier out of you. That is not my intention was. And it's damn, that feels really nice
She also says, Gran Torino's still alive because the All Might vestige is able to communicate with them with what the real All Might sees. So please tell him I said hi. And that's kind of the end of the One for All Mind Palace world. And we cut back to the real world with All Might. And Best Jeanist and Hawks come into the room and they're like, we want to talk about what One for All is.
Yeah, because bros, they keep saying stuff and
All Might's like, okay, fine, I'll tell you everything.
And within just a few frames of animation, you can really see how All Might shits his pants in this moment, realizing what has happened.
Because he can't keep it a secret anymore. This is the big secret that's been kept for the entire fucking show.
Yeah.
We also see in the background Ida, Uraraka, and Jiro peeking in on Deku's room.
Peep, peep. Peep.
You good in there, cuz?
Are you okay?
And All Might is like, tell you everything, spilling the beans. Several days later, or however many days, Endeavor, Jeanist, and Hawks are finally giving their press conference.
I'm sorry, there's a background character with a weird fucking head.
There's a guy who looks like a jigsaw piece within the audience of the press conference.
What's going on here, dude?
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're finally addressing the public about the allegations that Dobby had put on them. And they pretty much fess up to everything they say is true. We are very sorry. We're going to continue to blah blah. And there's There's a shot of My Hero Academia fan.
Just like some dude on his computer being like, "Oh man, he's never gonna recover from this blunder."
He's got
It's
like
like-
trash behind him.
Another Mid
It's like-
Hero Academia L.
It's like comic book guy. Like he's just like a big like fat guy slob with like and chips everywhere. He's at his computer. He's like, oh, this is over for Endeavor. It's done.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god.
And then there's a report. There's a reporter that's like, oh, you think you just can just say you're sorry and we'll forgive you? And they're like, no, we don't expect you to just forgive us. So like, well, then what are you gonna do? So we're just gonna go be heroes and protect the people. That's
yeah,
all
and
we- so
Hawks admits to killing twice, and also admits that his father used to be a criminal
yeah,
and all that stuff.
they
Basically, just being like,
that's-
yeah, we
so.
did that. We did that. Like,
Hawks also explains how it was kind of necessary, but he did not want to do that. He would have rather taken him in so he could face justice properly.
That Bubagawara was too dangerous, and it was tragic what had to happen to him. But Hawks knew that if he let that out, we'd see a threat as bad as Shigaraki and All for One.
Yeah. But just like how Endeavor is trying to atone for his family, he also just wants to atone for the people of Japan. He doesn't want forgiveness for stop the League of Villains. He just wants them to, like they've done before, just watch me. I will
pretty.
I will continue to fight for you. Is all I
pretty apt, because like, especially because there's like a bunch of heroes who are just leaving due to the bad rapport of like heroes right now and stuff. Like, it does kind of say something about Endeavor where he's like, yeah, it doesn't even matter if people like don't like me or won't forgive me. Like, I have to do what has to be done. I can't run away from this. I have to do my job. You know?
Do you think, because Endeavor was given the one number one spot by default, do you think, separate from the total family situation, like divorcing it from that, do you think he's earned the title of number one?
No.
No?
Well,
he did that cool shit in season 4.
Yeah.
I think in terms of their current stipulation of what the number one hero is, then yes. But I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I think the hero billboard system in of itself is an outdated form.
Yeah.
Very outdated.
It's mainly focused on popularity and then the occasional account of how many crimes they've solved and how many people they've saved.
Yeah, it's like fucking it's almost as weird as like fucking the One Punch Man like hero system.
The grading, like
string.
Thing?
Yeah, like I think in a future of the story, straying away from a rank-based system and more going a broader comic book route of like superhero groups, organizations, not leaving the pressure onto a single individual person, but a group of people trying to make a difference and lift these problems up is the future that My Hero is heading in.
Like,
because they're pushing for that hard, and we'll see a lot more of that going into this next arc.
Like less Batman trying to, clean up the crimes of Gotham City by himself, more like the Justice League, like inspiring people around the world. Yeah, I wasn't really asking number one spot in terms of like the popularity poll. I meant more like, did he earn like the position, right, of like being that like hero leader almost
within the last arc? I'd say so. Man led the charge into the hospital. He fought tooth and nail. He made sure all his fellow heroes were like organized and had a plan. He went face to face with Shigaraki, giving all he had. Even with the point where one of his lungs collapsed, he still put the last blow on Gigantomachia. Like, I think in terms of a number one hero of what we are currently settled with, I think he deserves it, personally.
okay.
I agree.
I think Best Genius deserves the leaderboard role. He's been good.
Best Genius deserves top 3. Like, people can clown Best Genius all they want, but like, bro is a soldier.
Bro gets the job done, and he's the most non-problematic out of the top 3.
No, it's
like,
true.
He doesn't have to deal with like abuse allegations or like murder. Like he's straight vibing.
He's just
Like,
a hero.
Bro, my lung blew up and then I fake died for months. Hi, fellas.
It's crazy how they are now in this position to because the people, they don't expect anything from heroes anymore, right? They don't expect them to do anything good because, well, they let all of Japan get destroyed because but also, like, they had no way of controlling that happening.
No, like that's the thing. Like one of the reporters was like, "My mother was hurt during the thing with Gigantomachia, and you guys weren't doing." And it's like, literally, what more could they do? Like they had to get. Well, I mean, I guess this is more just a reflection of how fucked up the society was, anyways. But they had to get fucking kids to help them.
Right, Gigantomachia was when they were even planning the whole like raid on the hospital and stuff, was a non-factor in their report, because Fat Gum says like, oh, don't worry, Gigantomachia isn't going to move because there's no one to tell him to move.
Yeah.
And then he moved.
It's like, which was unexpected. So
do you want us to focus on the dude that is currently leveling cities on a straight path, or the dude that could level cities with the touch of his finger in a matter of seconds?
This is the problem, is that ideally they would deal with both, but they just couldn't.
They couldn't.
They're both unstoppable forces.
and thankfully, like, Gigantomachia was defeated.
Yeah.
We had to leave the Titan to Majestic. we were a little low.
Stay easy on him. Stay easy on him.
Hey, that man died protecting everyone. It's fine.
Man said, I got a good eye for women, and then went to hell.
That's so crazy. Yeah, but like it's just unfortunate. Also, are they like, did they have to like lock down the school?
Okay, so what happened is that the suggestion is like, how are we supposed to protect everyone if there's crime riddled on the streets? Well, the Best Genius proposes, well, we could protect everyone spread out in Japan, so we've come up with a plan with the government to condense the population so that there's less places to protect, right? So they're converting like all of the heroes like UA and Shiket stuff into maximum security safety shelters. And we get a shot of Deku and Bakugo's moms kind of like on their way to go there. And
I know they're probably fucking terrified to shit.
Of course they are.
Their children keep getting into these life and death situations.
And the world as Japan knew it from now on is no longer the same. There truly is no All Might. This is not peacetime anymore. This is
there's no All Might, there's no system, there's no hero commission anymore.
No. All heroes pretty much are only doing it because of it's charity work at this point. There is no like, it is not a job anymore. We just do it because we have to and because we want to.
Yeah. There is no like incentive. It's just like, yeah.
And I had another point. I am all over the place today. But
To be fair, we're trying to bounce 3 episodes, so we're doing pretty good.
We are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of the families of the main kids, we're supposed to assume, because if we see Deku's family and Bakugo's family locked up in the safety shelters, and there's one. Was there a person like who was like, "How are we supposed to expect that to work?" Or like, can you hover over the subtitles? Because I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah.
There we go.
How can we accept being evacuated indefinitely without knowing the future? And that's when Endeavor is like, "Okay, I need y'all to shift the blame just to me, please. Don't do not focus any sort of like resentment towards heroes at the moment, but me, and watch me help you, because that's all I can do."
If being number 1 means being a symbol, let me be the symbol of your burdens.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn.
Goddamn.
Wash is watching it on his iPad and he's crying.
Oh, what's her name? Fucking Mount Lady.
Mount Lady gets 85% prettier because she took her mask off.
Mirko's still being a bad bitch in the hospital, as always.
She's like
Kamui
wrapping
Woods
something
is
around her.
Oh yeah, because her fucking arm got like
Yeah, it's torn
Man.
off. It's gone.
Twisty wistied.
Wait, he's actually a wood person?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was a costume.
Seth,
Nah, bro.
he can literally make tree branches from his body. That's his power. He's a tree
I didn't
man.
know. I thought. Okay, I thought he like.
No
I
way.
thought like maybe his like hands or something were trees.
way.
I thought he was
No
wearing like
way.
a helmet. I didn't think he was
No
actually
way.
a tree man.
I remember seeing his
way.
full head of leaves, and I was like, okay, so he's like a tree. I didn't expect him to be red.
I always thought he was a tree man.
Me too.
I always knew.
I thought they would be green, but nah, he an autumn tree.
He's a
There's
ginger.
There's a little bit where we see the heroes, and then we see Dobby watching the broadcast, and he does the little like.
He's like, yeah, he's like kicking his feet. He's like,
Yeah.
yes! The moment I've been waiting for.
Look at this loser. I got him.
And then
they do ask about One for All, and Endeavor is just like, I don't know.
oh yeah, that's probably the most important part of that entire press conference, is that Endeavor does not expose the secret, because he has no real reason to not
He
Why?
doesn't have
Why
all the
would?
context either.
But he's smart, because he trusts All Might and Deku,
Mm-hmm.
so he doesn't want to like
It's none of
compromise
his
them.
business either.
And it's none of his business, right?
Nothing to do with me. They all get a letter. It's from Deku, and Deku basically said like, "Yeah, I left UA. I'm gonna be gone." I think doesn't it? The note also he tells them basically, "Yeah, my power was from All Might."
Mm-hmm.
And
all
this stuff.
Shigaraki and All for One are after me.
This moment, this was the first moment where the leaks of the chapter before it dropped like bled into my neck of the woods because of how huge of a revelation this was.
No, because like this is game changing. It's like, whoa.
I think because if you look at all of the letters, they are all handwritten. And they all mention the people by name.
Are they all personalized? Because when El Chaco reads hers, it says like her name.
Yeah,
I think everyone is the same except Uraraka.
Because Bakugo got we just a little note for later. We see a little bit of Bakugo's in a future episode, and it is personalized to him as well.
I like to think he handwritten all of them, personalized for all of them.
Because he absolutely would.
That's a very Deku thing to do. Also, I don't like seeing Uraraka holding back her tears.
Yeah.
Being sad.
Yeah.
Because she's worried as fuck. Like
Deku at the desk, like, all right, what do I write about Sato?
I really liked your
Ojiro,
cakes.
you have a cool tail, and
Sarah, thanks for fixing my door with your tape one time. That was thank you.
Hagakure, I can never see you, but I have to assume that you're
He's
very
like-
pretty.
He's like, I'm sorry, Hagakure. I don't think I'll be able to see you anymore. Oh, wait. I don't think. Wait, hold on. I wasn't able to see you at
Oh my
all.
fucking god.
Ignore that. It's like all crossed out.
Yeah. Or Raka makes the point like, fucking, if heroes like, maybe y'all can explain it better.
Okay, so-
calling back to what she said during joint training when Deku was going out of whack with Black Whip, it's like if the heroes are so busy saving people and fighting
Who's
tooth and
there
nail,
to save the heroes?
Yeah.
If
That
they're
is,
suffering, who's there to help them?
and I love how that is the type of hero that Uraraka wants to be. She's obviously gonna help, like as we saw a couple episodes ago. She's gonna like save everyone.
And
But she saw the heroes like, I can't do this anymore, blah blah, and she has that look and realization of like, not everyone who is a hero can do this by themselves. Who's gonna help them? Who's gonna be that support system? And I love that for her. I love how because I've never seen like a superhero sort of comic or story ask that question, right?
Yeah.
No, I
Like
agree.
heroes always have it like put together almost in those, but
And usually they have like a family to fall back on.
Yeah.
But here talking about when everybody is a superhero, it's like when everybody understands. Is that really something that people think about? It's just the norm for them, which is why it baffles me how after Sounds of Collapse and that people are still like, yeah, Uraraka's here for the money. You can't read.
You can't read.
Like obviously that's what started it. I mean, even then it's like because she wants to support her family
Or-
because she cares about
Exactly.
her family.
Or it's the
about people.
personality trait of like Uraraka just she just likes Deku. That's it.
Like,
That's
no, she wants
Right,
to
like,
be there for
it's
people
more
that
than that,
need
bro.
help.
It's more than
She's-
that. She's a strong
she-
character. She's
She's the emotional yeah.
the emotional support anime girl
legit.
But in a good way.
in a good way.
And I think one thing is like, since she's seen so many heroes like quit, or at least a few heroes quit, that also means the heroes that are still there will have even more to deal with and handle, and even
they're going
more
to
weight
need
on their
support.
shoulders.
They're gonna need support even more.
Yeah, exactly. And since Deku has now gone out, just all alone.
Oh, just to be
Now-
clear,
Yep.
just to be clear, Deku doesn't run away. He specifically says that if he sticks around, he will put everyone in danger because All For One and Shigaraki are after him specifically.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's doing it because he doesn't want to put anyone in
danger.
danger. He doesn't want to burden anybody. He is kind of like, I need to do this on my own. Like this
Yeah.
is something that I need to fight on my own.
Taking on one of All Might's more toxic mentalities of shouldering that burden by himself and like leaving to protect the people that he loves.
There is, and we can. I don't know if even mentioning the idea is a spoiler. Whatever. There is a lot that we can talk about later in regards to what I call toxic selflessness.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're it's I guess
We
the,
could
the
definitely
real
talk about that later.
yeah the real phrase is selfless to a fault, right?
Yeah, it's to the extent where it's like actively you're not putting yourself, you're not looking at looking after yourself. You are just actively hurting yourself more than actually helping anybody.
You've thrown your own safety and security to the wayside in a suicidal pursuit of carrying everyone else's burdens.
Yeah.
This is continuing off of 305, or rather this episode, my favorite section of Deku's character.
Dude.
It is, because we've been saying that this is like the next arc because of the whole opening change, but really, this was still technically the Paranormal Liberation.
Yeah, I was
War
gonna
arc,
say this is the formal end of the PLF arc,
which I think is strange to call just that arc the Paranormal Liberation War, because a war doesn't end with one battle.
No, there's an aftermath.
there's like, that was just the first battle of an even greater war. But
yeah,
right here, the final scene is after Uraraka reads her own letter from Deku. We go to the somber scene looking over the destroyed city, juxtaposed by the bright blue sky, as Deku looks onto the horizon and, quoting his very first line from the series, a huge villain in the background. He lowers his mask, and it's got like these dark, like, eyes with only the green pupils poking out, and the screen cuts to black with the text that says the final act
begins.
Meaning that we have finally entered what is known as the final stretch of this entire series. And we finally get to know what the name of this arc is, because they actually named it. It's called the Dark Hero arc, and I'm so excited.
Final story.
The final story, and like the preview says, final story and how I become the greatest hero is about to begin.
Also, didn't Uraraka say some shit where she was like, "That's when Deku left our Hero Academia."
Yes, and I'm gonna say it right now. My hero has done it, I think, 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Has dropped the My Hero Academia title at least 5 times, and every time is a banger. It's never cringe. Like when other things do it, it's kind of cringe, right?
We will become the Tokyo Revengers.
As long as the series doesn't end with "this really was My Hero Academia,"
Actually, no one. Now that you say that, it should do it.
Just double down.
Yeah, double down. Do it.
But this episode was like, this is the lore dump episode.
Yeah. This was the people talking episode.
I think, like, it's so interesting just how he is the last wielder of One for All.
I want to call it a legacy, but it really isn't, because One for All is a power, yes, made to save people, but it is still a result of, it is still a part of a very destructive, very destructive, like, cycle of death, and then placing a burden on someone, and then dying, and then having Deku be the last one to break the cycle would just work. It just works.
And I gotta say, poor Gran Torino, because he's seen like, okay, three lifetimes of One for All users.
Yeah, he has.
Shimura, All Might, and then now Deku. And I'm sure he's absolutely sick of
I'm so fucking tired of this power.
I'm sure he's sick of All for One and his nutsack face.
He has seen the successor of One for All fight All for One or variation of it with Shigaraki 4 times. He's seen it with Shimura. He's seen it twice with All Might, and now Deku. And it's yeah, you're right. I'd be pretty damn sick of it too.
And now he's got
tired.
Now dude's a human donut on top of it. Like, come on.
He needs to die. Like, he just needs to get clapped.
Gran Torino is just so tired, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I hope, I'm sure he will, but I hope he gets to like live and finally see that cycle just break.
He deserves it, bro.
He deserves it.
with
He needs
the
to literally blow up, like explode.
with the final stretch of My Hero starting this episode. This episode also starts the final stretch of this season. We only have 7 or so episodes left. So,
Yep.
I hope they take a big break.
Yeah.
we are
Still,
reaching
take a
the,
break.
we're reaching the end of the season. We are pretty close to the current manga content.
Yeah, I was gonna say the gap is very short.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Hori's also been taking lots of break due to his health, so I'm kind of like,
At the time of this recording, he is on a 2-week break. That was unexpected, by the way. It was not planned.
mhm.
So
We are all
He
very
was-
worried, and we wish him the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really just need him to take a break for as long as possible, as long as he needs. I mean, because like, I am at this point, I'm genuinely worried about him.
mhm.
Yeah.
Like, actually, and I'm afraid things could get much worse if he just keeps going.
They should give Hori one for all. He'll
We can create it in real life, and then he'll have the
Yeah,
power.
he can be the perfect vessel, and it'll be fine.
But then he'll use it on his drawing, and then he'll break his finger. Except he can't like heal, so he'll just have a broken finger.
Yeah.
Poyo, you are not caught up with you are not caught up with the most currentest of current chapters, right?
I am not. I am not. I stopped reading it like a year ago, basically.
So you are at the point where a certain power of Deku's has not been revealed. He's got.
I think so.
What do you think it is?
Oh, like his last power?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, like maybe something similar to Shigaraki where he just becomes invincible. I have no fucking clue.
The second's quirk: flip the table over and shoot the other player.
Gun.
Uno
the quirk.
reverse. Yeah, he gets a gun. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Quirk.
I'm gonna do this. This is the last time I'm ever going to bring this up.
Okay.
Oh.
Drum
here we
roll,
go.
please.
Wait, what is this? What is this?
Dear viewer, and or My Hero fan, or whoever this may find itself, whoever's listening, fucking.
What is this, dude?
Please stop complaining about the color of the sky. The sky is blue. This is on purpose. It is in the manga. Shut up.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think that is pretty. I think that's a good place to.
That'd be a
it's
funny
never
way to end it.
it's never been the blue sky that's the problem. It's the compositing. You can make a blue sky
Yeah.
look good. It's
You
just there's
can.
no compositing.
Yeah.
They don't try to pretty it up too much.
Fellas, calm down.
Fellas, it's okay. It's gonna rain soon. Don't worry.
It's okay.
It's gonna rain all the time. And if you watch the PV, we could talk about that for the next couple of episodes. Ooh, it looks good.
It looks
Yeah.
good.
We got new characters, new stuff. It's gonna be great.
My hospital academia is finally over.
It's finally over.
I forgot that was what we called it. For that phase.
And we have been recording
For
3 hours.
I knew it.
Hours.
I knew it was gonna be 3 hours.
Oh, an hour an episode. Let's go.
Dear
Yeah.
God.
So I think, is there any other
I've got nothing.
thing? Nothing. Okay.
I am hungry.
Zet, Trev, as the guest,
Yes.
do you have anything to say or add?
Okay. Enji's peak, Keigo is peak, Izuku is peak, Tomura is peak. Thank you for your time.
Okay,
Yes.
but what about
Thank you.
your favorite little boy? You know,
What?
that came out really wrong.
What?
Your favorite boy, Tendo, or whatever his name is.
I don't think I'll be,
Shindo?
Shindo.
if I don't show up when we get to a certain episode, just know I will I will make a video of me recording myself as Shindo dies.
Shindo doesn't die, by the way. Don't.
No, he unfortunately
His
doesn't.
guts will explode out. It'll be like an
But-
invincible death.
But I do get a Trev Z victory moment, so you'll see what that is.
A
I don't
single
get.
dove.
I just don't get finality.
Well, that was really My Hero Academia.
That really was UA.
This really was our UA anime club.
But where's my outro? I need to memorize this.
Thank you so much for coming.
Holy shit! Where is
Thank
it?
you so much for
Holy
watching.
Holy fuck!
Stop.
I'm coming.
Stop.
This has been the UA
No.
Anime Club podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when the UA Anime Club episodes drop, and as well as when other Figure 8 content drops. And of course, as always, thank you, Trev, for joining us on this episode.
Thank
But
you
of
so
course.
much.
And we'll see you next adventure.